So if you was thinking about getting into content creation, well, just be aware that you may find yourself trapped in a content MLM.
These days, the hustle economy isn't about pink Cadillacs or essential oils. It's about selling content creation. Across the internet, but especially on Instagram, content creation as a career has quietly taken on the structure and psychology of a multi-level marketing scheme, especially for young mothers who are promised income, identity, and autonomy.
You know what? If you're ambitious enough, if you're motivated enough, you can turn anything into an MLM.
Platforms are overflowing with videos insisting that anyone can do it, that success is just a few short-form videos away, and that failure is a mindset problem rather than a structural inevitability. This new MLM-style industry is being monetized through courses, coaching sessions, and an endless array of self-branding PDFs. But how did content creation become a digital pyramid scheme, and why are so many young mothers being roped into it? To discuss all of this, I called up my friend Caroline Moss. Caroline is the founder of Thanks, Just Bought It, an amazing newsletter and podcast where she gives shopping recommendations on the best products. I have bought so much stuff from this newsletter. It's amazing. She always finds the best deals. The shorts that I wear every single day I found in this newsletter. I've bought so much random stuff for my home that I absolutely love. I've known Caroline for over 15 years. She's a genius. And she's also so deep in the world of MLM mama content creation Instagram. So excited to have her here today. Hi, Caroline. Welcome to Power User Podcast.
Hello, Taylor. Thanks for having me.
I'm so glad you're here because I wanted
another
to discuss
Caroline?
this with you so much. And I feel like we've been texting each other so much. And I was like, just come on my podcast.
There can only
we need
be
to
one.
break this down. So to start off, I kind of want to jump back and talk about the origins of this. Like before content creation became this like get rich quick scheme, sort of like when did this start? We all know how the influencer industry began. But to me, a lot of this idea of like going on social media to make money and get rich started in the early 2010s with MLMs.
Yeah, I think that's probably accurate. I think in terms of like where our
Women really do drive this economy.
people hanging out online is where people will go and try to sell you something that will make you rich. You know what I mean? And MLMs or pyramid schemes had already had such great success when you were just doing Tupperware parties like with your neighborhood, right? And then the smart, I mean, and I'll put that in quotes, smart, because it's devious. Like people were like, well, now everything.
Raise your hand if you've had the experience where a girl you went to high school with who you have not talked to or thought about in years sends you a DM on Instagram like, hey, looks like you're killing it out there, and then tries to pitch you on an MLM. We all know the vibe of that message. We know what it looks like, what it sounds like, who it comes from. Yeah, the essential oils. It's hey, girly pop. Hey, girly. The hey, girly. The second you see that, you know what's coming. Yeah, still trying to push the Mary Kay.
Can be your neighborhood. Now, like you can like, you know, you can have a Facebook group of.
Do you know what's funny is like now I have a much better understanding of MLMs, and I always think of instances from when I was a kid, and very clearly now I recognize that moms I would babysit for, or my friends' moms who were all caught up in these MLMs. Like one of my friends had an aunt, and my friend and I would babysit for her cousins. And I remember going over to their house, and it was just Mary Kay products everywhere. It looked like a hoarder's house, but all that they had in it were Mary Kay products. And I remember being like, wow, she really likes Mary Kay.
People you don't even know, and you could sell them something. So I think
Those
like with the rise
leggings
of like groups and when Facebook moved away from like the wall, and like now you can like join like little clubs on Facebook, or like these things where these like-minded people can come together and you could like have community. Like there will always be someone in there being like, well, how can we monetize this? And I think like that is where like you saw the MLMs pop up, and people being like, I'm going to sell you nail polish. I'm going to sell you leggings. I'm going to sell you this. And I'm going to sell you the opportunity to be your own boss and to make thousands of dollars, and you don't have to go to the office. And who's that most appealing to? the people who are staying home and raising their children.
I feel like, I mean, the 2010s, especially the early 2010s, were so defined by like classic MLM culture kind of being reinvented for the internet. Like so much of that LuLaRoe stuff and just like Avon, all these other ones, Roden and Fields or whatever, what happened on Facebook. It was all about kind of network marketing on Facebook.
Oh my God,
Facebook
Roden and Fields. I forgot about that one.
And then I feel like, yeah, as you said, I mean, the industry started to get cracked down. Also, I think a lot of that stuff was...
Yeah, it's so true that they definitely tapped into the language around girl boss, around setting your own hours. You know, you can work from home, all these things that were sought after and appealing to moms. It's like, oh, I can have my own business and also be at home.
Kind of undercut by the rise of e-commerce and these e-commerce platforms where suddenly you actually don't need to hear from like a friend because you can just go on a subreddit and get all the advice that you need, and also just like read tons of reviews that are now all over like any sort of website. And also even just like things like Temu or Zara or fast fashion, like you suddenly just like you didn't need to buy leggings from your like random high school sorority sister.
And I mean also like LuLaRoe leggings are not your average like black workout legging. Like these are very specific, colorful, loud, and at a point for a year or so like very trendy, but like anything else, like it's very 2014.
Oh my
and
God,
now
those
it's
leggings
2026.
were so
So
fugly.
we're very much like past that. Like, and it's not a brand that because the brand is actually not super about the product. The product is a placeholder to keep them out of legal hot water. What they're selling is opportunity. They're not actually selling you clothes. So the brand itself is not like growing and evolving with trends and making new products. It's just like, here, sell these like shit leggings. But like actually what you can sell to your next door neighbor is this like amazing lifestyle where you're buying a Lexus and you only work like 3 hours a week. And they can do that too if they give you $5,000. And then you get like a cut of anything that they make. And at some point you're like, if 9 people on your street are all selling the same pair of leggings, who's buying them? No one. So you're in a pyramid scheme.
To me, I feel like a few things that changed also in the late 2010s, I guess I could say, 2018, 2019, leading up to the pandemic, which I think supercharged this whole sort of industry, was also the rise of algorithmic feeds. It was really hard to become an influencer throughout most of the 2010s because Instagram didn't even release their first algorithmic feed on the main timeline until 2016. There was no such thing as Instagram stories until 2016. And it wasn't even really until 2017 that they had like fully rolled it all out. And Twitter too introduced an algorithmic timeline for the first time ever in 2016. So it's like...
And if you think about that, 3 years later is the pandemic. And that to me all feels part of this timeline that we're still in. And like 3 years isn't just that, it's just not that long of a time. So you're right. It probably just didn't blow up until...
It was really hard to become an influencer.
Good
like
night,
it was
Willow.
actually really hard. You had to be able to like market yourself really well and build like a very dedicated audience. And then that audience would be consuming almost everything you posted because it was a chronological feed. And so you had to really retain them.
It worked well for the bloggers. I mean, that was the
That's
first...
so interesting because I always think of that time as being easier to become an influencer because it was so much less saturated. There was just so much less crap that people were wading through. But now I guess I think about it without the algorithm, without kind of the viral posts, then pushing either similar content or other content from that creator. Life before the algorithmic feeds. Remember that, y'all? Remember life before the algorithm?
Iteration. And then remember like blog roll and your Google Reader fell off. And then those people are like, well, what do we do now? And it's like, you moved all your stuff to Instagram.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like blogging was kind of an earlier version of this. The thing is that the money in blogging was never really there. And like blogs were emergent. And yes, there was like Blog Her and these sort of big events for like blog moms and stuff in the, in that earlier influencer time period. But it wasn't like everyone was following bloggers yet.
Wait, they're saying the algo is good? Not like in totality. A lot of evil things about the algorithm. But as far as how it made it easier for content creators once there was an established algorithm and things weren't just in chronological order.
It was still like the industry was growing. And I feel like, I mean, the turning point to me was 2020 because you had the pandemic hit. A lot of moms who did like
Hi, just want to say love your stream. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Welcome in.
time jobs or other things or like worked as a secretary at their son's school or whatever, like were suddenly stuck at home. A lot of them lost work. A lot of women, I mean, there were so many articles about this, were pushed out of the workforce generally that year. And it was also a time when everybody was getting online.
And you were doing everything online. You were working out. You were shopping. You were going to like Zoom happy hour, which is like the worst thing we ever did.
Nightmare.
What was that about? I never want to go to a Zoom happy hour again. What the hell? Just let me sign off. Everything was really nuts.
But I think also that's like when the influencer industry started to be taken really seriously. I mean, you saw this even with like Silicon Valley venture capitalists like Mark Andreessen and these people who hated on influencers. They hated on influencers throughout the whole 2010s. They talked about how like worthless these people were. And then suddenly like people started to take the online world seriously and be like, wait a minute, there's actually a lot here. Money's pouring in. Actually, the internet's our default reality. All these like tech people get into it. All these venture, like everybody's just pouring money into the influencer industry. And
I will say though, this is something I do feel is true for someone like myself who didn't start doing content until the end of 2022 and the type of content that I do. I think there was a window where with the amount, with my posts going viral or my just being in the content space, I think I would have multiplied my following a lot faster than I do now. I will have a tweet cross the 100,000 like line, over 100,000 likes and maybe get 100 followers from it, maybe a couple hundred. Whereas there was a time when, and it's also because a lot of people who I think would follow me from something like that are not on Twitter. Like people have just gone to different platforms now. So it does feel like there are certain things about how overly saturated the market is, the way that people consume online, but how that doesn't necessarily mean that they will then go follow someone like they used to. Because you don't need to follow to see someone's tweets. If you interact enough, you'll get them in the algo. And I am like that with other people on Twitter. There are some people who I know I've never yet hit that follow button because I see their tweets all the time. So it kind of feels like, one, well, I see their tweets anyway. And two, it's just that step of going to then hit follow has been removed.
I think it made a lot of people that were there at the right time, like really, really rich.
And what you also have to remember is, because you and I are about the same age, when we were leaving college and going into the workforce, that was prime time for a company to ask us like, hey, are you proficient with like Twitter and Facebook? And you're like, yeah, like I know how to log in. And that was all we needed to get a job in that space. Because it was like, I don't know what this is.
I mean, that was so Sam has been kind of advising me on how to make short form content. And she's like, people's attention spans are shot. You have to, it sounds so callous to say because I know the type of content that you do, but in order to hook people, in order to keep them interested, in order to like have them share your posts, in order to get that engagement, the just very definitive things you have to do on something like a short video. And I get that because I also, I also will be that way when I am interacting on these platforms.
We'll get like some 22-year-old to do it. It's why the trope of like someone's social media intern is going to be fired today because everyone still thinks there's like a 22-year-old running like a really huge brand's Twitter account, which is just like not the case. But in the beginning of, money rushing in to Instagram and TikTok and like the influencing world, I won't even say TikTok yet because I feel like that did not even come until like into the pandemic. But like Instagram for sure. And especially among millennials, is like all these brands are now being told from above, like, hey, everyone's doing everything online. So like, oh, this person has 4 million followers or this person has 300,000 followers. That must mean it's worth like $50,000. We'll pay them to do that. Like, and that changed really quickly too. But in the beginning, it wasn't about like, oh, well, how much are you actually converting? Oh, like how many people are actually clicking on your link and shopping? It's like you have lots of followers. Well, okay, we'll give you lots of money. And I don't think that there was just like enough data yet to be able to be like, okay, well, what are we actually paying for? What do we actually want return? It's just like popular person, we give them money. And I think if you were very early.
Yeah. And I think with for example, the exclusivity contracts with Twitch, Will is a person who missed out on that window. A lot of people who got exclusivity contracts, they had either the same viewership or lower viewership than someone like Will has now. But he was essentially, he missed the boat by, I don't know, not that much, but that was what Twitch had said. They're like, yeah, we're not going to do those anymore. So it definitely felt like there was a period of time when they were handing them out. Same with YouTube.
On that 2018, 2019 in the influencer world, I'm not saying you didn't work any hard, but kind of what we're about to talk about today, it's like you were very, very much like first in line, and you probably got like you reaped the benefits of like a new world.
You also had, I mean, I think like again, once these venture capitalists decided that
Caroline
the
Gamba
influencer industry was
when?
worthy, they coined the term the creator economy, which is hilarious and was never a term in the 2010s because they wanted to distance themselves from past statements that they made about the influencer world. But they started pouring all this money in, and you had also the CEOs of platforms like Instagram say, oh yes, we embrace the creator economy. We love our creators. Like we want, you know, more engagement. This is also when they're starting to do that, like lean further and further into algorithmic discovery to compete with TikTok. TikTok was always a very creator first platform in the sense that they could make people famous very quickly because of the algorithm. And so suddenly I just feel like there was this like influencer boom in like 2021, 2022, where people started to, like blow up, make big brand deals. Also, like you started to see these success stories like Charli D'Amelio came out of nowhere and made like,
I'm sorry, but the Charli D'Amelio dancing videos will never fail to make me laugh.
$50 million. Like, and the reason those success stories happen the way they did is because of algorithms, because like it used to take a really long time to get famous because you had to build that subscriber base over time.
Millions of
TikTok,
followers.
like you were just getting these overnight stars, and then the other platforms started to compete. And I feel like it just became this like massive, popular, you know, sprawling industry, multi-billion-dollar industry that everyone's like, wait a minute, whoa, I thought these people are just on their phone.
Right. I want a piece of that. And then comes the people who are like, oh, my job can be telling people who want a piece of that they deserve a piece of that, and here's how to get it, and they can pay me for that information.
Another thing that's happening simultaneously kind of amidst all this, again, like really around 2020 and after with the rise of platforms like TikTok Shop and Amazon, et cetera, is affiliate marketing. And Amazon launching Amazon creators, Walmart
As a Twitch streamer, do you feel like people can break in, or is the market oversaturated? It's definitely oversaturated. So do I think people can break in still and succeed? Yes, I think that for you know, YouTube, TikTok, anywhere. But you either are being put on by a big streamer, you know, it's kind of the mini economy that they'll have around them. You see these streamers who will do content together constantly and consistently because that's what brings in eyes. That's how they can get their own following. Or you have to, I don't know, you gotta pop off somewhere else. You know, maybe you pop off on TikTok, you bring viewers in over from there, or you just have something that's unique enough, and you manage to have clips that go viral, that pop off, and people discover you. So yeah, people can still succeed. It's just I don't think it's like what it was. Was it Pokimane who was saying that if she were to start, or was it? No, it was Faceless. Faceless was like, if I try to be a streamer now, I do not think that I would be successful. She's like, I definitely got in at the right time for what I do. And like, I mean, I'm not saying that I think that's true. That's what Faceless was just saying. If she were to try to be a streamer now.
Walmart creators, like
Target creators, everybody. There's a bazillion businesses that then encapsulate like all the smaller brands. Like, you know, Walmart and Target have it in-house. Other people hire agencies to do it.
I mean, Mike's a big streamer on the platform. Platforms definitely don't incentivize leftists, but there's a demand for it. Yes, it's just going to be harder to find people who want this kind of content.
for them. It's all, I mean, like affiliate marketing is like everything.
And I feel like a lot of these influencers as well started to lean really hard into affiliate marketing, make tons of money, and say like, listen, you don't even have to have millions of followers. If you just have, 50,000, but you're selling them on, your Amazon shop every day. Like,
I mean, I do try my best to always, for the most part, raid smaller creators, ones who I think are great, are probably people who members of this community would be interested in watching their content, because I know that it's hard to get a leg up in this industry, especially if you are a commentator on the left. A lot of times I even feel like I'm still kind of on my own. I'm kind of on my own island, despite having friends in the industry who are big, kind of more mainstream creators. There is absolutely space here for leftist creators. It's just maybe a little bit harder.
Too can be a millionaire. And the platforms leaned into this. Like I remember at VidCon, Amazon had this this was like 2022. They had this like giant booth where they were just like essentially telling everyone like sign up for Amazon, like put this code in your content on Instagram, like you could become a millionaire. And it's like, really? I don't think so.
I mean, definitely not overnight. I mean, I'll say I found like a ton of success, and I have like what they call in this world, like I am a micro influencer. I started as a podcast. That was literally the business model was like, come tell me what you're buying. I will put a link to that in the show notes. If someone buys, I'll disclose, but if someone buys it, that's how the podcast makes money. But I think what people don't see is like the obvious parts of it. It's like build your community. You have to work really, really hard before you make like any money. And I think that there is a misconception by going to a thing like VidCon where they're like, oh, just sign up. Is like, well, who's listening to you? How have you built trust? How have you built something that people find value in? There's two different kinds of attention economies happening.
I think another thing that we started to see with the rise of like affiliate codes and, Amazon programs and stuff was UGC and UGC marketing, which got really big. I would say in the past 2 years, but really 2025, that's when I started to see on Twitter, these digital marketers do these big threads about like, oh yeah, they're like, this is UGC, UGC, UGC. UGC means user generated content. It's what the internet runs on. We're all producing it every day. But now companies will sometimes like work with UGC creators, essentially people that have almost no following that will create content for free in exchange for almost nothing. Like, what's really bleak, Caroline? One thread on Twitter that was this girl talking about her UGC journey or whatever. They don't even send the people the products. What they're doing is sending them imagery to use and stock video of the product to use, stock video of the stuff. And some of these content creators are including that in their, like, you used to at least get like a free facial cleanser.
Oh my God,
now
they're
like, hey, check your email.
Product?
You want to be a UGC creator? Okay, let's see how your video performs. Here's some, optional B-roll footage of the product you can include, but you're not going to get the products.
Now this leads me to another point,
crazy.
Which I know from doing this now, is like sometimes I will get emails and they're like, hey, so in exchange for like 3 reels, can we send you like our best-selling nonstick pan and, our best-selling like knife set? And it's like, no, because that's not how I operate. But I can also see a world where it is so exciting.
I definitely have gotten a lot of that sponsorship offers that are not monetary and are instead like, we'll give you also not even giving me anything for free. It's like, we'll give you a discount code. We'll give you a discount code. I'm like, yeah, you know what? I think I'm good.
To be like, wow, this company actually wants to send me their stuff for free. That you're agreeing to make 3 reels, which some actual content creators are getting paid thousands and thousands of dollars to do, and they're taking advantage of you because they think you don't know that, or maybe you don't know that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think these women are getting a much free product aside from like maybe little types. I don't even think they're getting a pan set. I mean, these are people that have like 600 followers. I think we keep kind of almost lowering the bar, like further and further. Like companies are positioning the bar to be a content.
Yo, we got 3 left socks, no right socks. We can trade you for a reel on TikTok. I actually might take that up.
creator so low that it's like, are you a user of social media? You can
this
do
is how
user-generated
Glusenkamp
content.
Perez
That is how low the
pays
bar
rent.
is on the floor. You can have 3 followers. Just advertise for us.
Can you log into Twitter? Do you want to get hired as our social media manager in 2009? Like, yeah.
But at least we got a salary with health care.
Sure, but that's like someone in 2015 being like, I can log into Twitter, I can log into Facebook, I'm going to apply for these social media manager jobs. And someone on this side of, you know, the devil on this shoulder being like, do it. You totally deserve that. You deserve it. You should be your job. It's crap. The gifting of it, I have seen a lot of them trying to be like, hey, I hope you sent, like, don't do for like a can of seltzer. I don't care how many followers you have, but like there's a lot of brands who are going to be like, these idiots are just so excited to get a lip gloss in the mail. They'll make a real
have some respect for yourselves, and also don't give these don't give that to these companies. Okay, they're taking advantage of you. Something I've noticed on TikTok is people doing story times in like 75% of through. They name drop a product, it's definite ad, but they don't ever acknowledge that. Okay, so I also think people do that because you guys know about the woman on TikTok who did a jingle for, I think it was Dr. Pepper. I don't think she was paid. I think she just came up with a jingle for Dr. Pepper, and then it went mega, mega viral. And then Dr. Pepper, or what's the parent company? It's Keurig, KDP. What? I don't know. There's like 3. There's like 3 corporations that own all these products. I'm like, which one is it? So anyway, I'm pretty sure then they paid her millions of dollars for the jingle, and she did a commercial for them. I didn't think that she had gotten paid initially. Maybe she did. Maybe it was a hashtag ad to start off with, but I know that she was paid a shit ton of money because that went viral. And then she did. She was like the Dr. Pepper girl. So I use that as an example, though, because I think people saw that and were like, oh, I should try to do this. So it might be that they are promoting products and they're not actually getting paid, but they're hoping that the company will, that it'll go viral. The company will see that, and then they will get a payday from that. But it could also be that they are being sketchy and not disclosing.
For us, and maybe they'll make something us that we can just take, and they'll sign something that's like, you can use it in perpetuity, or like, we can use it in your commercial. It's just like, I blame the obviously above, and they're taking advantage of it. It just makes me sad.
So we have affiliate marketing stuff kind of
yeah, and she literally put in the TikTok caption, at Dr. Pepper, please get back to me with a proposition that we can make thousands.
I have a theme song for Dr. Pepper, and it goes like this. Dr. Pepper, baby, is good and nice. Doo-doo-doo.
Please get back to me with a proposition so we can make thousands together. Oh, talk about millions. Talk about millions. Remember the lady who got in a car accident and her car was on fire, but her Stanley Cup still had its ice. So they bought her a car. Yeah, I remember that. Everything else in the car burned up, but the Stanley Cup still had ice.
Taking off. I feel like everything got so saturated quickly, and there were all these kind of get rich schemes happening also in like the mail internet of like, they all had drop shipping stores, they all had, you know, crypto, NFTs, whatever. All this is sort of bottoming it out. And then in 2023 we see the rise of platforms like Kajabi and these courses, and suddenly everybody is encouraging you to like make a digital course and saying like, okay, digital goods are the new future. There's these course platforms that you can easily set up a PDF. This is also, by the way, right when AI is taking off. ChatGPT had launched a year earlier, so it's really easy to generate these types of courses. 2023-ish is like when I really started to notice the like get rich quick of it all, of like really kind of the MLM-ification of like content creation.
I'm rolling my eyes because I do think that the course, we called it Course Core when we were talking, you and I. Courses are great. And I think it's really cool that you can just like build a thing that you can sell over and over again.
I'm over it.
But we're talking about something a little different. I have bought not courses, but I have bought like PDFs. It was literally like the ultimate Trader Joe's recipe, literally items to recipes. And as someone who's just like not good at cooking and like there's just too much information on the internet, I was like, sure, I'll pay $6 for this. And I used it like all the time. That to me, great use of courses, smart. You have information, you want to share it, you want to monetize from it because, you know, sure, you can put all of that out on your Instagram for free, but like it's smarter to say like, I'll put like one recipe out a week for free. If you want access to everything at one time, just pay with one, you know, $10, $6, $12 thing. Great. But what we are seeing right now is the rise of courses on how to become a content creator. And that's what they're calling it, a content creator. Some of these courses are like, you have paid $30 for this course. Put this course back into ChatGPT, make it your own, and then turn around and sell it to someone else. And like, that's insane to me. And that is what we're seeing happening all over Instagram right now. And that I think is like the dark side of the course structure.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, we all love
just
courses
dye your
that are
hair
useful
blue
and
have
helpful.
a wife who
I mean,
will
to
bring
me,
you a
like I started to
sandwich
see this with
braless.
like the teen boys buying drop shipping courses, like that sort of emerged. And there was all these other sort of courses on things, but it is this like content creation course or services, right? Where it's like, I'll give you a custom plan. Of course, the custom plan is not very custom. It's
No,
like
it's not
literally
custom at all. It's literally ChatGPT.
Some of these are like-
it's insane.
yeah,
you
like
gonna make a
hundreds of
course?
dollars and even thousands.
Yeah, I'm going to make a course once I figure out how to be a content creator.
Of dollars, and they're all being targeted to women, I would say, in their 30s, 40s, and even 50s.
Yes, women who have really young kids and women who are about to not have any kids in their house at all.
It's the same target as the MLMs used to go after, but it's not like any sort of one formal MLM that's doing it, which almost makes it more insidious. It's just this network of like thousands and thousands of women that are like, I'm a social media, you know, expert, and I'm going to sell you my course. And then of course,
okay, so listening to this video is making me think about how many women I have seen who are my age, which is so young, but who are in their 30s, have kids, and I've seen start to kind of try to embark on these influencer content creator careers, but I don't exactly know what they're doing. It's not as if they're doing the like necessarily the trad wife thing. Some of them have a little bit of that, but it's kind of like they are taking one of these courses and it's being pitched to them in a way that makes it sound awesome and something that can something that they can see success from quickly. It does feel desperate. It does, which is sad. But I did notice that I have seen women who really never had expressed any interest in wanting to make content. And I don't really know. I just like don't really know what kind of content they're trying to make, because I don't think they genuinely feel impassioned about it.
those
Drew
people
Gooden
that buy
has
the
a great
course
vid where
then
he
set up their
responds and
Instagram
just
account, get
he
1,000
influencer to a
followers, and then
star
start
course.
trying to sell their own course.
Which is just the course that they bought regurgitated back into AI and turned into something else. And it's like all the same language that you see with the MLMs. It's like a lot of words, not a lot of information. It's like, do you want to know how I make $5,000 a month by like only being on my phone for like 2 hours a week? I'm like, I'd love to, because I'm on my phone 100 hours a week.
Yeah.
So like, let me know, mama. I would love to know. And then it's like, trust me, this is like what's happening in the influencer world. And I'm like, you have 900 who's feeding you this? It really makes me sad, because I'm like, you deserve to be successful. You deserve to like find success, but someone is selling you snake oil and you are buying.
It's also like you can tell the women who have fallen for this snake oil, like you said, because not only do
Caroline would do an excellent job teaching people how to stream.
Bars and like little hangs, but I think these bars are like filled with people complaining that they're not working on movies right now.
Oh my God,
And
you
so-
can't. Oh my God, that's so embarrassing. I'm so sorry. Wait, it took me a second. I was like, what's wrong with this? This was from 2 days ago. When I said I want fun reacts, I didn't mean for y'all. What's the problem? I was just
bars and like
there.
little hangs, but I think these bars are like filled with people complaining that they're not working on movies right now.
Oh my God,
And
you
so-
can't. So stupid. You watched for like a full minute before you realized. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you guys want to see what was happening? Did you want to see what was happening? Yeah. No, I actually should launch a course. I'm the right person to teach.
Do they
one of
have
these.
pretty generally low follower accounts because they're not employing strategies that work? But it's this like desperation, and they format a lot of their pages the same for people that like don't know what we're talking about. Well, you'll start to see these online, and if you engage with one, you're going to get 1 million on Reels. But it's like they love to do the kind of like B-roll footage of them like standing, looking at the camera, or like rearranging flowers or something, and then it'll have like the caption about how like hard life is as a content creator. That's the text on the video, and then the caption is just ChatGPT slop about how to push through.
Right, exactly. Every video is like day 4 as a content creator. Here's what I've learned. You just have to keep showing up as yourself. You just have to show up and post it, mama. And it's all mama language.
And it's like,
and
post
mama language
what?
scares me because mama language is MLM language. Like that's like the big siren for me. But it's like day 4 as a content creator. The way to find success on the internet is like not ever
show
going
up,
to be
mama.
as easy as like, here's a bunch of templates. Here's a Facebook group where we're all trying to do the same thing, and we will talk about the comment
Yes,
cycles.
mama.
It's like anybody can
Just
find
gotta show
success
up,
on the
mamas.
internet. And what people mean when they say that is like, if you have something that you're good at or that you want to teach people, you use your account to do that. You use strategies employed by other content creators that you see as like sort of working the algorithm. Trial reels is one, or like things that Instagram or like TikTok sort of promote as ways for content creators to like utilize to get in front of an audience. But like, you're not going to like randomly stumble upon $1 million by just posting like day 4 as a content creator. I'm a chaos mama, and I'm just so random, and I'm just doing laundry. Like, it just blows my mind that people are falling for this.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is the fundamental
Chaos,
thing is that these
mamas.
women don't have anything to say. Like, so many
Yeah.
successful content creators became content creators because they had a passion
they
for something.
have a passion. There's something they want to talk
Or
about.
they were-
There's something that they want to make content on, and you can tell these empty. Can't even call them content creators because I just don't even think that that's really what's going on. And there's nothing, right? It's like, you just got to show up, mamas. You just got to do it, and you'll make that money. Show up and do what? Yeah, it's just empty vessels. Absolutely nothing. And they'll be like, well, I want to be an influencer. I'm like, for what? What are you influencing? You're just influencer? What does that mean? It means that whatever you post, you get thousands and thousands and thousands of likes and millions of dollars.
or creatives, artists, or just people that wanted to like show up and had something to say or had a strong point of view. I'm not trying to degrade these women and say like they don't have anything
Content
going on or they're
mamas.
not amazing. Maybe they do have these amazing things, right? But I think they're being sold this vision of essentially like almost encouraging them to water themselves down and follow these templates, and this idea that like fame can come to anyone if you work hard enough, which is just capitalistic hustle culture, being sold back to desperate people, which I guess is like a tale as old as time. I also think that one thing that people really don't care about is life as a content creator. And this is something that I think every...
So true. That's so true, mama.
no one cares.
What does that even mean?
But that is what so much of these women, I think, because they don't listen, a lot of them rightfully don't want to like overshare about their personal lives, or maybe they have a hobby, but it's not something that they're going to like go hard on the internet, but they want to make extra money. And so they just talk about how hard it is to grow an audience and to be a content creator. And it's like, that is the least type of engaging content that you can possibly make.
Yeah, no shit. We're all on this internet app
But
ourselves.
that's what they're
like,
being
who are you
sold.
talking to?
That's
and the
what
answer
is in
each
those
other.
courses.
Each other. And so I want to talk about the communities that have kind of like emerged, because I feel like there are, if you go into the comments of a lot of these women's posts, it's all other women like this that have fallen for similar schemes.
So that's what I first started noticing. And so, by the way, this conversation that Taylor and I are having came about because someone got served to me.
To me, the people I blame are the ones who are going after these moms, right? Who are selling them these courses, who are convincing them that they can have these amazing content careers after 4 days and make a bunch of money and stay at home and do all the things that they, still have to do in their lives, and are preying on them, right? They're taking advantage of them. It's the pyramid scheme of it. And those who are selling this bullshit that are scamming
on a For You page that I was just so like, what is this? I never followed, but I did watch like a few videos, like start to finish. And so of course Instagram's like, give her more. She loves these.
Jacqueline
and
Hill
I landed
did
on
this
one and saw that
recently.
you had liked it. So I texted you and I'm like, okay, so
Someone
you've seen
with
this
millions
too.
of
But here was the
followers.
most shocking thing to me is like the first one that came on my For You page was so clearly going viral for all of the reasons this woman did not want it to go viral. People were making fun of her. The comments were like, this shouldn't be your job. Like it was mean. It was like mean spirited.
Well, the woman was kind of awkward, and strange,
but like reading from an AI script, like being like, hi, I'm a content creator. Like, it's like, you're reading from a script. And then in the comments, she'd be like, yeah, I'm reading from an AI script. Like, yeah, I use ChatGPT. And everyone's like, but this doesn't let us get to know you. I don't know. But like people were piling on for very like low hanging fruit. And I was like, wow, but she has 1 million views. So if she's rage baiting, she's done a great job. It's hit the algorithm and it's doing great.
Now
But then
now you
Instagram
wanna see
started
that
showing
reel.
me more of her videos. And then I noticed when I looked at the comments, there would be like 200 comments and the videos would all kind of be the same. It was still pretty awkward. You're still reading a ChatGPT script. You're kind of just saying like slop sentences that make no sense. Like, here I am, just a chaos mama standing here drinking a LaCroix. And I'm like, what's a chaos mama?
There's so many chaos mamas.
Chaos
chaos
mamas are
mama.
very in my feed right now. But the comments were like, yes, mama, I can so relate to that. And then I would click into those people's profiles and it was the same thing, like 900 followers. And then the bio would be like, just a mom of two making it through this awkward thing we call life. And I'm like, okay. And then all the comments on that person's posts are like, you got this. I love following your content. And then I realized what was happening, which is like, they have all bought a course and they are paying up the ladder to someone who's making bank off of them and off of their desperation. But they're all in a Facebook group where someone is saying like, okay, you guys drop your Instagrams in the comments and remember, like, engage with each other, like make sure you're going like hands up emojis. It reminds me of like 2013 Twitter when people are still like, hey, Taylor
Follow
Lorenz,
for
thanks for the follow. Like a whole fucking tweet that says that. And it's just like a misuse of the platform. And like, yes, you're going to get 200 comments, but like, where is that getting you? And it just is like, it blows my mind that someone is sitting at the top of this being like, oh, how I became a content creator. I sold hundreds of women this like $50 course.
And so many of these women, of course, end up selling their own courses. It makes me sad because they're not set up to be content creators.
Follow for
like
follow.
being a content creator is really hard. And I think that they're not ready
Harder
for
than working
the
an oil
public
rig.
to engage with their content. I think when they're on the come up and when they stay in that little universe of, the mama universe, like they all hype each other up. They all leave these comments. But once it breaks
Harder
containment,
than
you
the
mentioned
lines.
that one video, and I've seen so many on my feed that sort of break out of their, their algorithm, which is good, right? Like that's theoretically what you want, but they cannot handle it. They don't like it. They can't handle the attention.
Of course, they don't want to be made fun of.
They don't want to be made fun of.
Also,
And
what Taylor's talking about is
don't know-
what she's talking about is it being hard in a way that a lot of these women are not actually understanding. Like, you cannot just buy a course and then put out these videos that are like, I'm a chaos mama, a day in my life, I'm boring, that's that. And it's also like all the other things then that come from the internet and just things that people who are kind of looking at it as like a get rich quick, as a side hustle, is like, I don't know, whatever they're being sold, whatever they're being bought and sold on. It's really not what they think. It also sometimes can hurt their family or their so just all of these considerations on top of the fact that like you have to be consistent, you have to be putting out content that people are going to watch, people are going to follow you from, the way that you grow. And it's not something that just in 4 days you will have millions of followers. So it's not as far, when we say it being hard, it's of course not like this is the hardest job in the world. And it's hard in a way that so many other jobs are not. It's that there's a lot of work that does need to go into it, work that's not being taught in these $50 become a content creator in 3 days type courses. And then also the additional repercussions that can happen with, let's say you are a mom and you do have children, and then suddenly you have strangers on the internet being weird, being creepy. Jobs are fake, money is fake. Yeah,
how to handle online attention fundamentally, because they haven't really built up to it and they don't even know how to capitalize on it or wield it or anything. And I often see them get defensive where they double down. They will reply, especially on TikTok as well, which I was looking at something. It's like, they're doing video replies to every comment. Like, oh, I guess you're just jealous. Da, da, da. And it's like, girl, like, calm down. So put the phone down. Put the phone down. Like, this is the internet.
Yeah, I did see the one woman who has really caught my eye in this world. The video that I saw, the original video that I saw that got me to her page, I was looking for it the other day to send to you, and she deleted it. And it was the one that had like 1 million views. And I'm like, well, yeah, I don't blame you. Like, there was so many horrible things that people were saying to you in the comments. Unfortunately, that is what it's like to go viral on the internet.
Jealous of you being a chaos
Especially
mommy.
if you are not giving them anything. You're just like, I'm a content creator. Like, you're ripe for the picking. Like, that, people are going to come at you.
Yeah.
And, another sort of form of this or offshoot of this that I think has taken off as well is as more women want to be content creators, I think a lot of them have also gotten hooked into buying courses on Faceless marketing and setting up Faceless Instagram accounts, which we've talked about before, which is really just affiliate, where it's like they're shopping accounts, but you're like filming yourself, restocking. Like, this became popular again with the rise of affiliate marketing and just these like ASMR kind of restock videos a couple years ago. But now we've seen like the coursification of that, where we had a couple really smart, creative, talented Faceless content creators that just made shopping content that was essentially product demo videos and restocks. And they did a great job of it. But now they're telling all these women, are you too nervous to put your face on camera? Don't worry, just buy this course. And you see these, I was watching some woman, this woman just had her like random hands out and she's refilling the laundry pods. She's like moving one laundry pod to another like glass container from the, and it was like one of those reels that has like 23 likes and a couple comments. And I looked at her account and it's Faceless content creation. And it's like, you have 527 followers. Like, but you can imagine, like, not only are these people buying courses, but there's an entire industry selling to these people. Like, I was trying to think, like, okay, how did she film this? She must have had to buy one of those necklace type things, right? That has the phone mount around you. And so many of these women are buying ring lights. They're buying cameras. They're buying all of this stuff, which also is an industry that's selling to these people. And I think of like the companies that make all of this crap that are like, I mean, I have this that I bought, one of these like sticky things that it was like, stick it to your car window, and then you can make but it's like, there's so many people selling and taking these women's money in these pursuits. And it's sad.
It does make me sad. I love the hands account because I've been in this business now for 6 years. And my manager is always like, you should be doing more video. And I'm like, I don't want to. It's a lot of work. Like, I don't like it. I like doing what I do the way I do it. And the reason why I think I haven't grown in like a huge way is because I'm not playing to the algorithm, because I don't find it interesting. And I think I would get really, really tired of what I do. And I watch those hands accounts with the knowledge of how much it takes. I actually realized the other day, one girl smartly doesn't use her own home. Like, she has a rental apartment that she has stocked with all this stuff. Cause I'm like, she has 3 kids. There's no way her house looks like that. And then I like thought about it and I'm like, no, of course it's a write-off. It's like anyone in an office space. Like, her office space is probably like a 1-bedroom apartment where all of her Amazon boxes go, and she does all the stuff, and the lighting is perfect, and everything's white and everything's cream. And to be clear, the hands accounts that I love and that I'm thinking about are not selling courses. They're also the most successful ones, like over 1 million followers. But like, it is so difficult to do that kind of work. Is it brain surgery? No. Is it rocket science? Also no. But like, a 30-second video is probably like 4 to 5 hours of work at the end of the day. And what's unfortunate is that probably in these like lesser than e-courses, they're like, that girl just made a 30-second video. You could do that in between during nap time. It's like, no, you can't. This is a full-time job.
One thing I'm curious about with these women too is
now
like,
I want snacks
who are
too.
they even looking up to? Like, has there even been a breakout influencer?
Yeah, no, that shit takes so long. I had to do that for an internship and I fucking hate it. Wait, you had to make videos or you just had to like do the putting out all the snacks, putting things from one container into another container? I'm a video editor, can confirm. Yeah, it does. It does take a lot longer than you think it does. So the element of being hard in that it takes a lot more time and you have to, consistently, you have to be consistent with putting out content. That's the one thing that everyone will tell you. You got to be consistent.
I made a few one of these really courses down, that followed one of these courses that has used this.
Is it because you're a chaos mommy?
Playbook to actually become successful.
I've never seen it.
I've never seen a successful influencer that has these types of captions even. Like the very clearly ChatGPT written captions.
Train.
And the people that do blow up from talking about being an influencer, which I really don't think even happens anymore. It was like Tana Mojo in like 2018 or David Dobrik like vlogging his crazy life as a YouTuber. That's inherently interesting. I hate to say it, but like these moms' lives, like they're not necessarily inherently interesting.
If that's what you're showing on the internet, no, that's not interesting. Someone out there is saying like, hey, you're a mom, #relatable mom. Like talk about being a relatable mom.
There's also just like too much of that. How many fucking videos are there of someone taking chips out of a bag and putting them in a plastic container?
And then they do that by saying like, I'm a relatable mom. Container. And it's like, this is nothing. You guys are just doing nothing. Like, and this is not about moms, but those are the people who are being targeted. I've never also been like, I gotta follow this person who's just like, here's me just being a content creator. And that's what all of this content
chaotic.
Is. So like if you're getting famous, it's because from haters and you're not equipped for that.
Well, also like, it's interesting because like, obviously some of the first mommy bloggers went viral at the time. Like mommy blogging became a thing because at the time, back 25 years ago, it was this actually pretty radical feminist act to talk about being a messy mom and like sort of breaking the stereotypes of mothers that were completely dominant in the mainstream media at the time, which didn't show things like postpartum depression or struggling to breastfeed or all these things. So you had these iconic mommy bloggers that were very candid, that were sharp writers, that would develop these communities because it felt liberating for moms to be able to talk about that. Of course, there's still stigma around mothers and parenting and stuff, but also we have a radically different landscape around motherhood. And a lot of people actually understand that it is really hard to be a mom and there's chaos and we're all chaos mamas, here. And so they're not necessarily being forward enough where it's sort of shocking.
And they're not offering anything.
Did you watch If I Had Legs, I Would Kick You? You know what they should have had Rose Byrne doing in that film? They should have had her putting out TikToks. Because talk about a chaos mama.
And they're not offering anything. Yeah.
Yeah. I think with the Deuces of the world and, for like the first 6 years of my like online life, like all I read were mommy blogs. I didn't know other blogs existed. I was just very into mommy blogs. I didn't have kids. And to this day, I still don't have kids, but I loved it. And I think now looking back with a clearer eye at 2020 vision, it's like, yes, radical feminist act, but what it provides, like all of Instagram's success, all of viral internet influencer success is what are you offering someone that makes them say, I need to spend my attention on you because I could go anywhere with it. Like what are you giving me? And I think in 2005, yes, it's novel and it's like really radical, but it's also like there are no community spaces when you are up.
It also felt authentic in a way that a lot of this doesn't now. A lot of this was just so clearly, in just the assembly line in the factory of making these basic content videos. Now the successful mom pages are painfully aesthetically planned and crisp. They have their kids dressed like they're a Pinterest girl. Yes. And back then with the mommy blogs, it was like, this was a place where women were expressing themselves honestly in ways that they just, there was nowhere else. This was not something that was being done. And then other moms who found this and were like, oh my God, thank you. I feel seen. You compare that to the glossy pages of magazines depicting motherhood and all that. And here comes the rise of the mommy bloggers talking about having postpartum, you know, talking about being just so fucking tired and feeling ugly and it not being glamorous.
The child who like is crying all night. Like, do you know how amazing that must feel to be in the comments section of like a Deuce blog post? It's like it's the original Reddit almost. And it's like what these courses are missing. And honestly, like in an evil way, what they know that they are missing, but they're still selling you anyway, is that like, yes, hashtag relatable mamas have always gotten attention on the internet and some of them have found a lot of success. You're not actually telling these people why, and you're not giving them any tools to get them there. You're just saying, here's a bunch of templates. People love you talking about how tired you are, mama, and how like you don't like doing laundry. And it's like, you got it. It's 2026. Like, what are you giving someone?
There is a massive content industrial complex aimed at selling and giving women that information and targeting those women and developing products for those women. And like, you know, I'm pretty sure like Happiest Baby or whatever, right? Even had like a blog, like a lot of these companies that make products for these new mothers also like have their own content marketing schemes. So like when you come on in 2025 or 2026 and all you're saying is like, I don't always put away my laundry. It's like, okay.
It just makes me think like, have you ever been on the internet before? Like, what are you watching that you like?
Well, they haven't. And that's the thing, too, that I think is interesting about a lot of these women. I actually don't think they're very online. I think if they were more online, they almost wouldn't fall for this. Like there's an online.
Like, let me just read this ChatGPT generated caption for a second. Girl, your 30s are weird. You pop out a couple kids and one day wake up realizing you generally don't care what anyone thinks. You post the silly little content and finally understand it was never that serious. It's giving NPC. It's giving okay.
Language. And a lot of this is like offline behavior where it's like you read about the internet, you see an article about somebody making $10 million and you think
also somebody trying to tell you they are relatable is not relatable. What's relatable is when you feel that you relate to someone, you relate to something because of shared experiences, not someone just going, I'm a relatable mom. Hey, look at me. I'm a content creator and I'm relatable. Ain't nobody going to be feeling relatable.
Too, but you're not really immersed in these spaces, because if you are immersed in these spaces, you end up picking up language and norms and you sort of become part of like the broader community of the internet. And I don't think these women actually are very online.
Right, because who doesn't actually have time to be very online? People raising children. And it's like that becomes the easiest target.
They're being told like the internet is this like
this feels kind of mean. I want to be very clear, as Taylor and other Caroline are expressing as well. This is not an ire towards these women who are being roped into these bullshit courses. This is the people who are selling them this bullshit, the scammers, and also remarking on the fact that like this clearly doesn't work. You can't do something like this and expect that you're going to be a successful content creator overnight. Like it's explaining the MLM aspect of this, but also being like, it's ridiculous that it's ridiculous that this is what the business model is, and it's not working. And then a lot of times, though, they'll get to a point where then they turn around and sell courses to other people. They're like, oh, okay, I guess I'm going to then do the same thing that someone else did. And that's how I became a content creator. And that is to sell somebody else whatever this is.
The place to master. And it's like, no, it's a blood sport. It's actually really hard. It's getting harder and harder and worse. And these platforms are going to take more and more from you. And it's going to get like you are.
Sometimes being blunt is needed. Like when Caroline called these women soulless vessels, like that would snap me back to reality in a heartbeat. Yes, I'm remarking on why this doesn't work and why it's such bullshit to sell this, you know, to sell a course, to sell this idea that is successful content. It's not. And it's it's clear why.
We're so unprepared for what this takes because it is a job that is actually really hard to do.
And at the end of the day, you are going to give up because you're going to really, really try. But that $40 you spent or $60 you spent or $200 you spent is in someone else's pocket. And they knew that you would give up and they knew that none of this stuff was going to hit. You know, there's a couple of people who I have followed for a while for one reason or another who like cycle in and out of the MLMs, and recently 2 out of the 3 have switched over to courses. And literally it is like How to Be a Boss Babe. Like it is 2014. Like How to Be a Boss Babe, work 2 hours a week, make $5,000 a month. And I'm like, again, I would love to know. Like tell me how to work 2 hours a week and make $5,000 a month.
Well, it's also like, who are you influencing? If we have 10 million influencers and we already have micro influencers, we already have nano influencers, which a lot of these people ultimately, I guess, are, but it's like, what are you in?
Also, I do think people need to hear this. I do think they need to hear it so that they stop giving their money to scammers, so that they stop, like, they understand the reality here. Okay. It's in the same way of any other MLM. I recognize the exploit at the heart of MLM schemes and how they work by roping other people in. And it's essentially not about the product. It's about selling this business opportunity to someone else. But you gotta know what's happening.
You're
here.
influencing them to become content creators. And then you guys are all just content creators boosting each other.
You know what I just thought of? It's like I follow a ton of influencers. I follow X, Y, and Z for this thing. I follow X, Y, and Z for that thing. And what these content creation courses actually are like weirdly selling is like you are now the one content creator that anyone needs. It's like I'm not following someone who's like, I'm a content creator. I'm following someone who like does dopamine dressing. Or I follow like somebody who does like needlepoint. I follow chefs because I don't know how to cook and I like watching other people cook. I follow people who like travel for a living, and like all of that makes up my diet. But these content creators are like, and you're going to follow me because I'm a content creator. It's just like a weird, like, I don't even know if anyone's ever defined content creator to you. Like, it's not just like person who makes an Instagram video.
But that's what they think it is. And I kind of think the media reinforces that to them. Like, I don't think that there's been a lot of coverage about, like, if you are just a normie offline person,
I'm
and maybe if you're young, again, you're more immersed in that environment if you're some Zoomer. But like, if you're like a 35-year-old or 45-year-old woman and you got a few young kids and you're overwhelmed and you just read these headlines that are just like, Mr. Beast is now the biggest YouTuber, or like, you know, Miss Rachel's blowing up. Like, you just sort of see like person putting content on the internet, money. And again, the tech companies are interested in you believing this because the tech companies also, they want you to spend more time on the app and they want you to create content for them as much as you possibly can. That's another thing too, that like I signed up for a new Instagram account recently and I registered it as a like a digital creator account because it's just like another meme page that I have. And it was like onboarding me onto the like creator program. And it's like, sign up, post a carousel, get a bonus. And I'm like, wait, this is scammy. Like, I don't want to,
colorful
I'm making an
maximalist
account for fun.
dressing.
Like, I don't want to be like funneled into this like business.
She hit Zoomer almost
scheme.
like a slur.
That is such a great point. Because what were we doing on Instagram, you know, 12 or 13 years ago? Even if I scroll back to like 2013, 2014 Instagram, it's like the super filtered photos, 6 likes, no comments. There was no messaging. Now Instagram is a business and you on Instagram is a business person. There is no like casual use of Instagram anymore. Like if you are on Instagram, you're there to make money. And you're right. They're saying like, here's how you sign up, like input your PayPal account. Make sure you give us your social security number so we can pay you. And like, why are you here if not to make money? Look at all these other people making money. It really blows my mind. It also makes me think of like, well, when was the last time I was really offline? And I can't, like, I don't think I ever really would ever have described myself as an offline person. Since the internet, I've very much been an online person. But I do remember getting really, I mean, like, what's the, 2002 version of this? It's the like work from home online. Like, and I was always enticed by it, but I didn't need a job in 2002. But like, what were those jobs actually? In 2002, what were those ads that were like, do you want to work from home and make money? What was that?
I remember it more like in college, like, and I'm sure they started with the .com bubble, right? Because there was also like, you can e-trade from home, become an e-trader, like the internet has always been full of get rich quick schemes. And I think that like, there was always sort of that side of it. I think that social media has just brought it to like the mainstream where it's like, okay, I'm sure these people, and I'm sure these moms, again, were targeted in MLMs before. I would say that's like the precursor to this. And I don't know what they were doing before that. Probably like, yeah, other work from other schemes to make money. I mean, young moms are always in this difficult position because a lot of them they were probably really competent.
I don't blame these women for wanting to believe there's an avenue to get out of the horrible grind turning people into dust. I don't think explaining the mediocrity, the cookie cutter prompts they're giving women is an indictment on the women. I hope that Chatter understands that. Well, it's needing people to understand what this is so that they don't fall for these become a content creator overnight and start making millions of dollars type of MLM scheme. And also so that they don't turn around and then do this themselves. Because a lot of times it's like people who are selling these courses are doing so because they saw other people doing it. And it's like, let's be real here for a second. Let's be honest here. Let's talk about why this is not good, what actually you need to do if you want to succeed in this as a possible career, whether part-time or full-time, and don't just pass this off to the next person. My mom did online surveys for 9 months and she earned $4. Oh my God. Yeah, I understand. It's I think referring to the horrible grind turning people into dust doesn't just mean like working a 9 to 5. It means living under capitalism
in their previous careers, but they've had to take time off often when they have kids, reinvent themselves, find some sort of flexible work environment. And that's really hard for them.
While also being like stuck in this patriarchal system where like they still have to be like the main parent and like taking care of their kids. And I think like watching that LuLaRoe documentary really opened my eyes to just like these specific women have such a target on their back, which is that like you can attract people with like boss mama, be your own boss, retire your husband, make so much money, but you're still stuck under the system that's like, you know, but you have to be home and the family first. And like, and I think these courses are just like the next iteration of it and less hard to trace back to a thing that like promises you a product. Like all of this stuff is just like living in the cloud.
It's harder to crack down on because there's no one MLM company that's doing this to all these women. And because these tech companies, I'll say it again, are completely complicit. They want to sell everybody this idea. They want you on there. They want you engaging. And I think I just want to disabuse anybody of the idea that you make money on Instagram. I have 176,000 followers or something. You know, I post my videos all the time, mostly TV clips of me, whatever. But I am technically enrolled in the monetization program because I remember when I quit my job at the Washington Post, I was like, why not? I'll sign up, see how much I make. I just want to show you how much I made last month. I got a statement. Hold on, can you read it?
$10.32.
$10.32 for generating like hundreds of thousands of
that is also
views for that. Like
that is also TikTok too. People have massive followings on TikTok that they are not monetizing it in the way that you may believe. Whether that's because that's just what you think or because you signed up for a $50 course and they're telling you like that you can make tons and tons of money by doing XYZ.
Post every day on this platform. Like I'm a well-known reporter. These women I'm sure would love to have 176,000 followers and that's how much you make.
I have 57,000 followers. I've been doing this for 6 years. I have made $0 on Instagram itself. Zero.
Because it's a scam. It is a scam. They are selling you a lie. It is so hard to be a content creator. It's a tough job. And also no one wants to see it. No one wants to see you setting up your tripod and talking about it because it has to be completely behind the scenes. It's like, it's tough. I feel bad. Like for these women. I mean, I was even just thinking like editing this podcast. I'm like, I think these women are ultimately kind of like victims of this system.
No, they're absolutely victims of it. Like it drives me nuts because what I want to do is comment on all of them and be like, this is insane. Like someone is selling you a bridge, but like, that's just like, oh, you're mean. You're not supporting other women. Like, I'm not going to get into that. You know what I mean? But like, that's what this is. Like, it makes me so mad. They are all victims of it. And it's like, gee, you're not only victims of it, but you're like, like publicly putting that on display for other people to eat you alive. And it's like, it's ultimately not your fault. Someone told you. Like the woman that we both kind of had on our page is such a great example. And I really wish
yes, this is clearly having empathy for these women, anyone else who just falls victim to these various schemes. But it's also like, don't turn around and try to do this shit too. Okay, don't turn around and try and sell to people how to be a content creator. Don't do that. Don't perpetuate this. And it's also, please understand that if you are a mom, if you're a stay-at-home mom, there is a path for you if you truly have content you want to make and you want to you want to pursue this as a path, but this just empty ChatGPT generated reading off a script, giving nothing but just saying like, I'm a chaos mama, that it doesn't work.
The video that
I just started my course after seeing this video.
Broke out and got 1 million views, though I really understand why she did based on the comments. But it was like a lot of people were in the comments saying, the things that you and I are thinking. And then, she did the comment reply in the new video. And a lot of it was like, yeah, so what? I'm not a good public speaker and I need ChatGPT because I'm not a good writer. And a lot of people were like, then this doesn't sound like the job for you. But it's these people who are like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're bad at Instagram, if you don't have a tripod, if you don't have the lighting, if you don't have an aesthetic home, if you don't have cute clothes, if you're not rich, like you can make a ton of money. And it's like, that's not true. And you're telling people this like falsehood so that they give you $99 to learn more. And then you don't give a shit what happens to them. So another thing I will mention, Taylor, because I did kind of do a little work.
And the other thing is I've gotten annoyed because I've had people reach out to me. This is just personally. I've had people reach out to me and they ask me, they're like, oh my God, girl, it looks like you're making, I think, first of all, they think I'm making a lot more money than I actually make. But they're like, wow, you're making money as a content creator. I was like, okay, excuse me, pop culture commentator. Let's put some respect on the title here. And I can tell that they are clearly only interested in making a lot of money fast. And so I try to give them advice and I'm like, hey, I'll help you out. I know you, I'll try to help you in this. And I will spend time and energy just sharing information I know, and they disregard it because they just want overnight success and money. And so they don't actually, it's also, I'm like, they don't appreciate what I do. They don't know what I do. It's also it's kind of this treating me as someone who just, this just happened for me. It just, I decided I was going to be a content creator. And then like that, boom, I started making so much money and had so much success. And that's all it takes is, like declaring that you're a content creator. Marissa did make me. That's true.
On this is like, I was trying to figure out through the comment cycles. I was like, okay, who's selling a course and who's just trying to make a page? And basically anyone over 1,200 followers is trying to sell the course. But the people the woman that we both is not being followed by any of these people who sell courses. They don't give a shit. You're a $99 straight payment.
It's sad.
It really makes me sad. And then meanwhile, now it's my entire For You page because I've just like sat there and watched so many.
It is such a thing on like women's Instagram, especially for like women in our age group. But I will tell you, my friend Matt, who is like a literal Zoomer influencer, Matt Bernstein, also started to get some of these people on his page because he on TikTok, which is interesting because they're also on TikTok, although I think Instagram is the hub for them. But he was also saying that like he had gotten some, and I was like, oh, welcome to the world, because like these people are just all over. And I do think it's going to get worse. I think a lot of these women, we've mentioned ChatGPT and stuff, but a lot of these women are being sold AI, and they're told, doesn't matter if doesn't matter if you have no skills at all, AI is going to help you. And once again, these tech companies are saying, yes, it will. get on there, post your content. You're going to be a millionaire tomorrow. And they're not.
Another thing I noticed about a lot of these women is because they're all really vehemently defending ChatGPT in the comments because of all the people who were like, hey, like if you need ChatGPT to like write your captions and write your scripts, then like, why am I following you? I could see this caption from anyone. Like, I don't know anything about you. Honestly, the nicest way most people put it. And then you can tell a lot of these women, like I can just imagine what the course says. I was looking at a lot of their profile photos.
You see them cycle out. I mean, it's funny when you see some of these come up on Reels. I'm so deep into this algorithm. Like, I think they just know my target market. And a lot of my friends have young kids. And so I engage with a lot of that content. And sometimes you'll get a Reel that'll come up and I'll click and it was actually posted November of last year and they've since quit. They haven't posted in months. And you're like, gosh, this is one of those, accounts that's defunct. And so, yeah, they move on. And sometimes they'll like restart or pick up the page and be like, I'm back at it. I'm trying again. And I mean, it's capitalism that's failing them. It's our like patriarchy that's failing them. Like it's all really bad. And I feel like it is ultimately the end point of capitalism this is sort of the conclusion of my book, is like there is nothing more sort of like capitalistic than commodifying yourself and your life and your experience of motherhood, right? Like that is.
And you know what? These mothers should be paid for the domestic labor they provide. So much of this work that they do, full-time work, that is not just unappreciated, but uncompensated. They should be supported for being full-time caregivers. Now, especially in a country where they're screaming at us to have babies. They're like, why doesn't anyone have babies? Oh, the birth rate. Oh, none of these women are having babies anymore because they're all just woke. Will Neff. Will Neff, thank you for the raid. Yeah, woke, more like broke. Calling out scams does not equal women not supporting other women. I wish that would stop being a thing. Imagine preying on women's downfalls or a woman running a business. Can't relate. Yeah. I think it also infantilizes these women. I think it also it's silly to be like, ooh, we should not be blunt and in identifying what this is, because they are getting scammed, because they are being sold bullshit, and in some cases turning around then selling the bullshit themselves. Welcome to the woke line. All right, we're almost done with this video, everybody.
Bleak,
just got
but
here,
then to do all of that and not
gaming.
even make money is like even sadder.
And like, end for what? And if the end game is like, well, it pays my rent, like it pays my mortgage, it paid for my kid's school. Like,
you finished stream early. Oh yeah. Okay.
Do you? We're all in hell. Like money is the currency. Great. Yeah, it bums me out. And I think seeing those defunct accounts really bother me, because it's like, what pile does this now go on top of for you? $1,000 here, $100 there, someone promising you something that was going to make your life easier and better, and your problems go away, and you can be like all these other people you see online, and then you end up leaving being like, I'm not good enough. I think I keep bringing up the LuLaRoe documentary because it really made a huge impact on the way that I thought about this whole world. Before I was like, MLMs, like everyone who like joins is an idiot, but I'm like, oh, like they're preying on really desperate people. And it just makes me sad, because it really makes me remember that part of the documentary where the man who was like the head of it, who was like, if you can't sell these leggings, it's your fault. It's not like and it's like, it's not their fault. It's like
men.
You reach saturation point.
Caroline, thank you so much for joining me today. Also, tell everybody where they can follow your stuff.
I'm so happy to have joined you.
I love your newsletter so much. I love all your stuff.
Thanks. You can follow, it's called G Thanks Just Bought It, and my Instagram is G Thanks Just Bought It Pod, and you can follow that on Instagram, and from there you'll find my Substack and my Facebook community and everywhere for good community recommended product recommendations. And it's fun. I'd love to have you there.
All right, that's it for the show. If you like my
Woo! All right, that was Taylor Lorenz's Power User Podcast. The topic was how content creation has become a pyramid scheme. And to the chatters who were saying that they felt like this was mean, I hope that makes me feel bad that you thought that this was just to like shit on these women when it's not what it is. It's like it's the same as any other. It's the same as any other MLM. It's just now in the world of content creation. And yes, I was laughing at Chaos Mommy because I think that's awesome. I don't know what a Chaos Mama is, but now I'm going to call myself a Chaos Mama. Woke mamas, Chaos Mamas, boss mamas. We love the mamas. We love the mamas. And I hope that this does not proliferate and people recognize that there's a bunch of horse shit, and where there is money to be made, you will always have schemers and scammers. I prefer the term entropy matriarch. Entropy matriarch. Yeah. Rose Byrne does need to start that TikTok. Woo, you know what though? She would kill it. Rose Byrne's character in If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. I think she would have been very successful as a content creator because I think people would not have been able to look away. They've been like, holy shit, this is insane. This really is chaos, mama.